The city of New Vegas shines like a beacon in the Mojave, and like moths to a flame, people from far and wide travel the wasteland to make or break themselves on its dazzling streets. And yet, just outside the safety of its walls lies Freeside. In sharp contrast to the order and wealth of the Strip, Freeside is a destitute neighborhood filled to the brim with gangs, addicts, and ne'er-do-wells. Travelers to the Strip will typically hire guards to make their way through the region, whereas those who don't end up dead in the alleyways and back streets. The locals of Freeside are a tough breed. The weathered tribals prior to Mr. House, robots when Mr. House made himself known, and then dealt with the gangs and ruffians that now prowl their streets. Yet for all that they have seen and witnessed, even the bravest gang leader or the most uncaring of addicts whispers in fear of a new power in the region: Maud's Muggers. Maud's Muggers are a gang of elderly women who have begun to terrorize the already terrorized community of Freeside. Having had enough of disrespectful youth and the loud volume of venues past midnight, these ladies chose to turn off their scheduled daytime viewing of Days of Our Lives and took matters into their own hands. The gang's dress code entails bright pink spring dresses, utilized to emphasize their perceived age and fragility to take advantage of unsuspecting wastelanders. This is further seen by their choice of weaponry, where once these rolling pins may have been used to create baked goods for their loved ones, Maud's Muggers have repurposed them to bludgeon their victims to death, allegedly then rolling out their corpses as a calling card. The leader of the gang is aptly named Maud, or as she refers to herself, Malefic Maud. True to her name, Malefic Maud surprises the Curia in Freeside, and shortly before attacking them she declares,
"Lucky what we have here, ladies. Another unsuspecting ponce."
She immediately displays her cruelty and vulgarity in one sentence. She refers to the Curia as a ponce, a word for an effeminate man, immediately showing herself to be a homophobe. She also declares that the Curia is another unsuspecting victim, immediately showing that the Curia is not their first victim, and if killed, definitely won't be their last. Joining her are her two enforcers named Irate Ida and Rancorous Ruth. The game's files indicated that a fourth member of the Granny Gang was meant to appear named Caddy Clara, but apparently this would have overpowered the faction too heavily. As their notoriety grew, stories began to circulate around Freeside of this grievous group of geriatrics. Theories swirled as to the why and how that a group of old ladies would decide to start causing chaos within Freeside, a stone's throw away from the crown jewel of New Vegas. Some imagined that they were agitators of the NCR, striving to make an already volatile location boil over by taking out locals of the region. Eliminating them would create more space for NCR settlers to displace Freeside residents, while also causing a maelstrom of chaos that may cause fearful locals to turn to the NCR to bring order. Others theorized that they were elite agents of Caesar's Legion, the unseen Speculatores. A mix between an explorer and frumentari, Speculatores handle mapping and battlefield reconnaissance, while also fulfilling some of the roles of frumentari, such as murder and dramatic atrocities to break the spirit of the enemy. Most notably, Speculatores are meant to be women. Maud and her muggers may be the most unassuming of Caesar's troops, the antithesis of the Legion, sent in to cause mayhem in anticipation for their conquest of the region. The most common theory, however, is that Maud, Ida, and Ruth are each simply residents of the region. With Mr. House's power play transforming the area 7 years prior, many inhabitants of Outer Vegas lost their lives, homes, and families. While House and the three families gained wealth and power, those outside the walls were left scrounging for scraps. Perhaps Maud and her pair of savage seniors were left destitute, and rather than being preyed upon by wastelanders, they sought to prey upon them themselves. And although they started robbing people simply as a means to survive, the thrill of the chase has escalated into a willingness to commit violence for the sake of violence, stalking people such as the Curia and exclaiming with glee for their upcoming demise. So while we may discuss the rise and fall of the NCR, the Legion, or Mr. House, we rarely stop to think about the effect that these great powers can have on individuals in the region. And these events evidently may have far-reaching consequences, most notably, turning a group of grannies into a homicidal gang on par with the Fiends.